there and get your bracelet water if you need it, and go have you a seat.
It's good seeing everybody here.
Welcome to what we think is going to be a truly historic town hall. In the crowd to acknowledge we have a lot of cancer victims. But then again, in the area, that's nothing new to you, is it? We have elected leaders, thank you. We have scientists, thank you, who are here to address some of these concerns, and so you get some clarity. We can cut through the noise. If you don't know me, I'm Duane Pohlman. I'm the Chief Investigative Reporter at Local 12 WKRC in Cincinnati. Over the past 5 years, as you saw, my Fallout investigation has exposed, with a lot of help from the people who are around here, some of the contamination, cancer, and death here in this county and beyond. And I want to be clear. I want to make this crystal clear. Contamination from the Portsmouth Gaseous Diffusion Plant, ports, or as you call it, the A plant, is in your communities. No question about it. It has drifted miles from the plant. The question that remains the hurdle is it dangerous? I know what the answer is by most people in this room. Absolutely. But the Department of Energy, DOE, which owns the plant, has insisted it is not. WKRC TV and our sister stations have aired more than 30 investigative reports over the past 5 years. We've gained national attention, no question about it, garnered some major awards, but DOE, which is in control of the science, has the final say here about what is safe. That's where we're stuck. So we're here today to do something that needed to be done a very long time ago. We're putting the focus on you, the victims who are suffering. And because we're here together today, I really am hopeful. I'm hopeful that we send a powerful message to our elected leaders in Columbus and in Washington to listen and to do something. I want to take a moment and I want to do something that will hopefully demonstrate what you're facing. I want to ask all of you several questions. I need your help. If you can answer yes to what I'm about to ask, please stand if you're able and remain standing. Okay, we good? Who in this room is battling cancer right now? Please stand. Who here has battled cancer in the past? Join them. Please stand. How many of you have had at least one loved one die from cancer? How many of you have had a loved one, friend, neighbor, or someone you know with cancer? Please stand. Now, I want you to raise your hands if you blame our government, the U.S. Department of Energy and Ports, for causing your cancers. That's exactly why we're holding this town hall. Behind me, Dennis Foreman, Piketon Village Council. Wes Hairston is over here. Wes is the superintendent of the Scioto Valley Local Schools. Jerry Miller is a Pike County commissioner who I've come to respect greatly. Matt Brewster is the Pike County Health Commissioner, providing great insight, working relentlessly. A man who I absolutely am astounded by his genius and his contribution in giving is Dr. Michael Ketterer. He's been amazing, unbelievable. Dr. David Menuda is the former chief scientist at Ports. Dr. Menuda has provided great insight and done so much for us. And joining us by Zoom from New Jersey is Joseph Mangano. He's the epidemiologist and executive director of the Radiation and Public Health Project in New York. His material on numbers of death are unbelievable. All these people showed up. I invited the U.S. Department of Energy more than 24 times. They're not here. The Ohio Department of Health politely declined. Ohio EPA said, we will not attend, but would not tell me why. And the current members of the Portsmouth Site-Specific Advisory Board, I went in person to invite them. They have not attended either. I want to start with epidemiologist Joseph Mangano, playing a critical role in understanding the magnitude of cancer and death in Pike County. Joe, your studies have been unbelievably crucial. You revealed cancer and death rates that are double here in Pike County. You uncovered premature death rate in Pike County. That's 107% above the U.S. average, more than double the rest of the country. I want to ask you, Joe, are these numbers for cancer and death the highest you've seen? And please tell us how significant that is.
They're very significant, Duane. First of all, these are official statistics from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The important part is to understand that going back to the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Pike County had a cancer death rate below the U.S., about 12% below the United States for quite some time. And beginning in the 1970s and continuing up till today, that status as a low cancer county not only disappeared, but was replaced by a high cancer county to the point where now the cancer death rate in Pike County is well below, above the U.S., and especially the premature cancer death rate. In other words, people who die of cancer before the age of 75 is extremely high. Probably among the 3,000 counties in the United States, Pike County is in the top 100, maybe even higher than that.
The pushback is, well, it's Appalachia, Ohio. They smoke more, they're heavier, they don't eat well. I hear this as a pushback, but you have an answer to that, don't you?
Well, what we did was we looked at not just Pike County, but Pike plus the 6 closest counties, all relatively close to Portsmouth. And we compared them with 6 other counties in Ohio, all in Appalachia, all with relatively similar rates of poverty, rates of smoking, lack of access to medical care, and so on. The only difference between the groups is one is close to Portsmouth, the other is far from Portsmouth. And we found that at least half, probably well more than half of the high rate cannot be explained by it's just Appalachia.
Let's go ahead and talk to some of the people about what's going on in their families. This is Brenda Sevens. Also, we're going to talk to your nephew in a bit. You have at least 11 members who have had cancer. That includes your mom, thyroid cancer, your sister died of breast cancer. You said, it's too much loss. I can't process this. Is cancer a way of life for your family?
It has been, yes. We've buried from my 13-year-old nephew through the generations to my mom. And it's something that in each one of us, I've had cancer 3 different times. Mom had 4 different kinds. My sister had cancer twice. That was just in our family.
I understand they just found another spot.
I have to go this month for a diagnostic mammogram, and I have an ovarian cyst and tumors in my uterus that it has to be addressed. So yes, I may be facing more surgery.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing what you shared here. I appreciate it. You're in our prayers. I'm so
I
sorry
appreciate
what's
it.
happening to you. All right, so we're going to go to Jennifer Mead. Jennifer, you can stand up, please. First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Today's your birthday.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
You hanging in there?
Yeah.
All right. You've had a few tough years, haven't you?
Yeah, 19 months to be exact.
You lost your husband.
Yes.
What did he die of?
Adenocarcinoma.
In his esophagus.
That's where it started.
Not a smoker.
Not a smoker, not a drinker, nothing.
Do you blame the plant for what happened to you?
Yes.
You also have other family members. Is cancer like your reality, and how worried are you?
It's the reality for the Mead family, absolutely.
Hi, Tesla. You live on O'Brien Road in Lucasville.
Yeah.
You have a SPINK1 mutation. I had to look that up. I
Yeah.
never knew what that was. What a SPINK1 mutation is a precursor to pancreatic cancer. You get annual checks, you're screening. Man, you're awfully young to be dealing with all of this. How old are you?
I'm almost 33.
Yeah. And you went and got checked, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Why'd you get checked?
I've lost 17 members of my family on every side to cancer.
17 members of your family and 1 close family friend.
Yes.
In your family. On and on it goes. How many worked at ports?
I have 5 of them.
Why do you think it's happening so much?
The plant. We all know that. We've known that forever.
All right, Tesla, thank you. I want to stop and ask a question of our councilman, Dennis Foreman. Can you come to the podium? Dennis lost his mother to multiple myeloma. That was in 2013.
Yes.
He lost his grandmother to the same cancer.
Yes.
You're a leader here in Piketon, sir.
Yes, sir.
How hard is it for you to handle cancer, not only in the community, but in your own family?
My grandmother died of multiple myeloma, and then my mother, my hero, she found out multiple myeloma. You couldn't even touch my mom because the pain was so excruciating. My neighbor died of multiple myeloma. We laid my grandfather the rest, but then my uncle just got laid to rest Monday. I lost my father in February, just lost my Uncle Harold. And there's my first cousin. He has multiple myeloma. When I first come into here, I was having a talk with one of my local people. When you talk about how's it feel to be in a community, we went to school together. She's sitting out there. She knows me well. Her mother's going through the same thing, and we both said as 2 adults, when am I next? It's almost like taking a roulette wheel and spinning the wheel and thinking, do I get checked today? I'm hurting. Is it going to be my turn? Like most of you in this room, you probably think, when am I next? What cancer am I getting? Yeah.
Do you believe the U.S. Department of Energy, or DOE, is responsible for the cancer deaths here?
You know, I love coming from here. It's my community. And we saved the entire United States because of what we sacrificed. But in the back of our mind, even as a child riding by on my bicycle, I'd hold my breath because it looked like a bomb got dropped on us anyhow. As soon as you come into Piketon, there's a mushroom cloud. We all know growing up here. And it's hard to admit that that's what it is, but we all know that's what it is. It's just difficult to deal with, Duane.
You told me just days ago during a meeting that preceded this that you're angry. that you're really angry.
Yes, I'm angry.
You broke out into tears.
Yes.
I didn't ask you at the time. Are you angry about the sickness and death, or are you angry about your own government?
I'm angry because they don't care. Why don't you care about us? You don't care about me. You don't care about my family. You don't care about the people sitting in this room. What we sacrificed for an eternity made us the superpower. And now you're going to ignore us and bury it and run away. That's disgusting.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to go to Kennedy Duxon. Where's Kennedy? Hi, Kennedy. Kennedy. Hi. How are you? You were diagnosed, first of all, you live in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
You were diagnosed in January of 2023 with essential thrombocythemia.
Yep. And
Is that correct?
myelofibrosis.
Yes. You have an extremely rare genetic mutation. You have a risk of blood clotting. You now have to get your blood checked every 6 months. Do doctors believe this will lead to cancer?
Yes.
Just a matter of time.
Yes.
You said that your doctor told you you will have cancer by age 40.
Yes. I'll need chemo by 40. Yeah.
Are you scared?
Yes.
What do you blame?
I believe the Portsmouth plant because my genetic mutation is non-hereditary, is 100% environmentally caused, and I'm too young to have anything like this happen to me.
You absolutely are. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Kennedy. I want to go. Thank you. I want to go to you, Vicki. This is Vicki McIntyre. Your father isn't with you today.
No, he isn't.
You were diagnosed in 2000 with DFSP. That's a rare, slow-growing skin cancer.
Sarcoma.
It's a sarcoma,
Yes.
which is part of this.
Yes.
At 34, doctors told her that, Vicki, you won't make it past age 40. I don't often ask people's ages. How old are you now?
58.
Proved them wrong, didn't you?
That's right.
You stubborn?
Very.
That away. Your father was diagnosed with bladder cancer 3 years ago. You have a brother who has battled lymphoma.
Yes.
Your son had a tumor on his spine,
Yep.
removed 10 years ago.
Yep.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
Not to mention all the aunts and uncles and grandparents.
I got them listed. 12 cancers, 9 deaths.
Yes.
That's not normal.
No, it isn't.
Are you frightened about what's happening?
Absolutely. Yes.
And I know the question begs the answer, but who do you blame?
I blame the atomic plant. It's the only common denominator.
Jessica lives outside of Lucasville on State Route 104. That's near the Pike County line. You can see ports from your door.
Yep.
You've had cancer in your family, mother, breast cancer, breast and skin cancer, grandfather, grandmother, both cancer, cousin who died 2023 from a brain tumor. You have cancer literally surrounding you and your family.
Yes, literally. I was diagnosed at 28 with invasive small cell neuroendocrine carcinoma, perfectly healthy at the time. My mom worked at the plant at the time she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her mom was diagnosed the following year. Within a 3-mile radius of my home, I have 32 friends, family, and neighbors diagnosed with cancer.
That's along State Route 104. And you have that many. And your mom documented that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I am 1 mile from the Pike County line.
You were told everything was safe.
Right.
You're still told that.
Still told that. Yeah.
Do you believe it?
Absolutely not.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right, let's get an expert in. Matt Brewster, if you can come to the podium. Matt's, again, the Pike County Health Commissioner. You told me years ago that cancer is happening here at alarming rates. You believe it's connected to ports?
There has to be a connection. I don't think any of us can deny that.
Okay, so the Department of Energy, DOE, as you know, and you deal with them, continues to say there is no connection to a health threat at all from our plant, that communities around here are safe. Do you believe them?
I think we just use DOE's own principle. So DOE operates on a principle that says anything that's added to background increases risk. Well, the plant's been operating for decades here, so they've been adding to background for 50 plus years or since the 50s, which means they've obviously increased the risk, however small that might be. It might not be small, but using their own principle and the things they operate on says they've increased risk simply being here.
Quick answer is you don't believe that,
No.
that it's safe. Study, 6 mile radius around ports, multi-year, more than 6 years. The big study, the ATSDR study from the Department of Health, the U.S., came to the conclusion that no health threat. Do you agree with that conclusion?
ATSDR reviewed available data. They didn't do anything new or take samples themselves, and the majority of the reports they looked at were averages. If you look at it as a whole, you think, well, it's really not too bad. But when you look at the individual reports, then there's a big difference. So there's a difference in averaging things than looking at an individual property and what that means to the homeowner.
Are gardens around here safe?
Depends where they are. That's a study we're doing and looking in depth, and there'll be a report coming out late summer that shows that. There's never been a large-scale study that shows if contamination's in the soil, how much comes up through the root to the vegetables to the person. That's ongoing, and that was part of our independent assessment as well.
Are fish contaminated with radioactive material, including plutonium, in this area?
Yes. There, as part of the independent assessment, just briefly, there was 21 samples, which is a very small sample. 8 locations, 9 of the 21 had a certain level of plutonium. So again, a lot of these things need looked at more in depth, but yes, there was plutonium in fish.
Where was that coming from?
Little Beaver Creek was one. There were several locations.
You know
there.
where Little Beaver Creek is, folks? Coming right, flowing out of the plant. We don't see signs or disclosures, don't fish here. We don't see anything that says don't swim here. Why not? What do you think?
According to the EPA, it's safe because to them, you're not going to eat that many fish where it becomes a problem. But
So a little plutonium's not going to be bad for you?
That's according to how the EPA's risk model works. Correct.
Isn't it time for an independent assessment of this community so that you get hard science and not what you saw here?
I don't think you can have too much data. An independent assessment, one thing that our independent assessment did not look at was groundwater. They wouldn't allow us to look at groundwater, private wells, waterways, to the extent that needs to be done. And more importantly, we talk a lot about radiological contamination. The independent assessment only looked at rad because that's all they would fund. They originally would fund the chemical part, they wouldn't. So all the cancers and the thyroid problems that we're talking about could just as easily be caused by chemical contamination, potentially coming from ports, just like we're talking about. So that hasn't been looked at independently and absolutely does, and it's probably just as important or more important than the rad portion.
I'm getting that over and over, that if you take away the fact that this place made enriched uranium, you also have a lot of chemicals that need to be looked at. Jerry Miller. Hi, Jerry. How are you doing?
Hi, Duane.
It's good that you came here. Just for background, I invited all 3 commissioners. This one showed up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you think ports is connected to the cancers and death here?
The short answer to that is yes. A more nuanced or more in-depth answer is how much and what in particular. But I don't see how anyone could look at the data, and look at the folks in this room and listen to the stories and listen to the real life tragedy and loss that's taken place and not draw a correlation with something that produces some of the most volatile and dangerous substances on the planet Earth. So yes, it is. To what degree, I don't know.
Ports pays well for jobs in an area that you don't get high-paying jobs here, do you? They're not available. Ports pays very well here.
They do.
I think the only one that competes is the prison, Lucasville, from a salary point of view. How much of a pressure of that economic reality is playing here on the examination of the real contamination threat?
That's a great question. Obviously, economically, what happens at that plant and the jobs that are created and the revenue created from that supports. If there are 2,000 people working out there, you can assume 2,000 families are being supported by the work that they do and the pay that they earn there. That said, there has been a reluctance that I have noticed from our federal delegation in particular in years past to not be as aggressive, and by aggressive I mean asking a question. I take great issue with that. Ask the question, it doesn't make you an enemy. I have to say yes, that the economic implication of losing jobs out there based on a finding of contamination that would either put a pause on current activities or cost future jobs, it's absolutely a consideration. Is it a consideration for the commissioners? We don't want jobs to go away, but I live here. My family lives here. Your families live here, and it absolutely matters to me.
There's current evidence that Dr. Ketterer, and I'm going to talk to him a bit, figured out, connecting it to demolition and the movement of the material to the dump, all of that.
Yes.
Have you asked the DOE about that, and what are they telling you?
Have we asked?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we asked. Yeah, we asked. A
And
lot.
Did you get an answer?
Yeah, we got an answer, and it was totally unsatisfactory. If you can look at a video and you see a tarp that's blowing in the wind, and its job is to stop dust from getting into the wind and going off campus, and you see that tarp blowing, are your safety protocols working? My answer to that is a hard and fast and factually indisputable yes. It's no, it's not working, and yes, there's a problem.
So you believe contamination is happening right now from the activities?
You know, if it's not happening now, it was happening before. Readings before and after showed that causation of these increased readings had to be, or stood to reason to be, from that. So yeah, I can't help but think that some level of contamination is escaping.
You have a centrifuge right now running at ports, is the only place in the country enriching uranium right now, at ports. You have a plan for micro reactors, nuclear reactors at ports. That's happening. You also have a plan even for an artificial intelligence center to draw energy from what is going to be produced out there. What has DOE shared with you about that?
DOE's involvement in that is a process wherein they remediate the contamination on a particular set or parcel of acreage. When it is dubbed clean, the plan is to then turn that acreage over to the county, when in fact it doesn't necessarily go to the county, it goes to SODI, Southern Ohio Diversification Initiative, whose responsibility is to transition from a former uranium enrichment location to a location that can be reindustrialized using the very robust infrastructure that exists here. One of maybe 2 or 3 locations in the country that has this type of infrastructure.
But are you concerned? We're back to enriching.
Are we concerned? Yes.
I mean, so the question, I don't want to be inflammatory, and I know the question is inflammatory in part. How on earth do you have a clean energy future if you haven't dealt with the dirtiness of the past?
Another good question. First of all, you have to remediate the ground that these new businesses are going to be located on, because DOE will not turn over something that is contaminated, at least not on purpose, okay? So wherever they're going to be located has to be dubbed usable and clean. Technology has obviously changed, and I'm not advocating for let's be nuclear in Pike County.
Right.
We need these jobs. That is a safer, by and large, process than what existed in the 50s and 60s and so on. So the AI component with a data center, Oklo with building mini reactors, Trillium with potentially a hydrogen fuel processing location.
Yeah, we didn't talk about hydrogen fuel is also part of this.
All of these are, in my view, positive for Pike County based on what we've learned.